Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, I am going to be teaching you how to create an effective parenting structure and everything you need to make your structure work and make it effective. Enemy Orebo is my name and welcome to Parenting with Enemy Orebo. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always trusting me to give you value. Please do well to share, to talk about this channel, share, like, and always leave a comment. If you have a question, feel free to ask all the time and I'll take your question gladly. If you are new here, thank you for finding me. Thank you. I'm glad to have you here. Please do well to check our previous videos to learn. We have a lot for you to empower you on your parenting journey. Do well to check our previous videos. Subscribe. Don't leave without subscribing. Click on the notification button so that you get our videos when they are uploaded. Share this video, like, leave a comment, and if you have questions, please do well to ask. Again, this is Parenting with Enemy Orebo, and today it's all about creating your parenting structure. So what is a parenting structure? So in my definition, a parenting structure is a plan in place for parenting. Now, whether you intentionally create your structure or you do not, you have a structure. Like I shared yesterday in our Zoom class, you have a structure. However, when you create your structure intentionally, you put a lot of factors into consideration, such as your vision, because your vision and my vision, your parenting vision and mine are not the same. So you put your parenting vision into consideration in creating your structure. Now, when you do not have a specific structure, you are not defining your structure, you may not put your vision into place when creating your structure. So you are just going to do things randomly. Now, whatever it is, you have a structure. I always say, whether you are teaching the child or you are deliberately teaching your child or you are not teaching at all, your child is learning. Something is happening. Your child is learning. So your structure is the plan you have to raise the child you have. The plan you have to modify behaviors, to communicate expectations, behavior expectations, to define boundaries, to learn behaviors, to unlearn some behaviors, to form habits is basically your structure. So everything you have in place that is doing that for you is a structure you have put in place, whether you intentionally put it in place or not. Now, however, as an intentional parent, you have a plan, rather, you have a vision for your child. There is something you want. You have a vision, you have a big picture. So, what you want to do is to deliberately create a structure that will bet the vision you have. That is why your structure and my structure cannot be the same, because we do not have the same realities, for example, and because we do not have the same vision. Your structure has to align with your vision. So, what is the purpose of a structure? Like I said, I shared briefly, I shared in passive. The purpose of a structure is one, to modify behaviors. If you have behaviors you are not comfortable with or you feel no, they need to stop, you use structure to modify the behavior. To teach your children things. For example, I have parents that say, oh, my kids don't love to read. My kids don't love to do their chores. You have structures to help them learn to read or fall in love with reading. You have structures to help them modify those behaviors, or rather help them learn to do their chores. You use structure to communicate behavior expectations. Now, this is it. This is it. Structure creates boundaries. Now, let me tell you something. It is not just about saying, oh, I have a structure. I have defined the behavior expectations and all of that. No. What makes it a structure is the fact that you are consistent. It is repeated. They say repetition is the mother of learning. That is what makes it a structure. Now, each time I want to talk about structure in our community, I always refer to a physical building. You know that it is always there. It is not moving, except, of course, there is a major renovation. That is how it gets to change. The same thing happens to your parenting structure. It is there. That is why it is consistent. Consistent, it is always there. It has to be there. No, after a while, it becomes a lifestyle, especially if you are a parent and you are starting early. maybe before you even got married, you already made up your mind that, okay, I'm going to parent intentionally. And one of the things I want to do early is to create a structure in my parenting. Or you're pregnant or your child is just a toddler, you are starting with a structure, because structure becomes a lifestyle. It is repeated. That is how things are done. This is the way something, this is where thing, this thing is supposed to be done. This is the way things are done in this family. It becomes a lifestyle. So when your child goes out, it becomes like a bit of a struggle for them to be compromised or for them to be influenced, because they have this thing inside of them. I always ask a question. They say leaders, some leaders are born. I'm always like, are leaders really born? I feel that it's because from small they have exposed them to leadership traits, leadership grooming, leadership environment, and all of that. So it has become a natural part of them. Then you see someone say leaders are born. You want to look at their history from small, the environment and all of that, the nurturing. Then you realize that a lot have gone into them, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Same thing happens to structure. When you have a structure, and it's repeated, then every other thing falls in place and it becomes a lifestyle. It becomes a habit. Structure is used for habit formation. Now, when we talk about structure being consistent, let me explain what that means. Structure being consistent simply means that as a parent, you have to understand your structure and be consistent with it. Every time, if it's a yes, it has to be a yes. It doesn't have to be a no, it's a yes. Now, this is why before you set your structure, you consider every factors you have, every single factor. You consider your reality, you consider your factor. When we had a live class yesterday, a mom asked that talked about her schedule, for example. She leaves home in the morning and she comes back in the evening with her kids who are still toddlers and they are not in a regular school. So how does she create such a structure? She has toddlers and she works from, let's say, 9 to 5. She cannot have a structure that I have because my kids are older. So before you create your structures, you have to understand your realities. You have to know that, okay, your structure has to be sacrosanct. For it to work, it has to be sacrosanct. So you have to understand that, okay, this is this. If there's ever going to be any change, then there has to be a reasonable excuse, an understandable reason for it to be. Now, talking about structure being consistent again simply means that everyone in the environment speaks the same language. Everyone in the environment understands the structure and applies the structure. Yesterday in our Zoom class, I also explained a mom and a dad cannot be speaking different languages and expect the children to build behaviors, to build habits. It's not possible. The mom says, okay, bedtime is 8 o'clock, and the dad comes and says, 8 o'clock is too early, let them play. There's always inconsistency. It is going to have the children confused. And of course, everyone likes the fun, the easy, and all of that. So they are always going to go with the one that is 10 o'clock, or even they even want to negotiate later. When the dad is not at home and the mom is at home, and they are just going to feel, "Oh, this my mom is wicked, her own is too much. If my dad can consider, why can't she consider?" That behavior you want to form will not be formed, because there's a hole somewhere. So for when you say structure needs to be consistent, it simply means you need to be consistent in your application, and everyone in your environment has to speak the same language. Your spouse, the key adults in your environment, you have to speak the same language. That is how structure can be consistent. Now, apart from using structure to do all we have mentioned above, you should also use structure to instill values in your children. I always talk about two of the two of the values we have in my house, talking about self-discipline, I'm talking about self-delayed gratification and empathy. Structure. One of the structures I shared yesterday in Park and in our Zoom class, and I've shared in Park several times, is delayed gratification. We have a culture that says whenever you get an item, maybe you go out, you go for birthdays, you go visiting, or someone comes in and maybe your aunties or something like that buys you a gift, you are not to eat it until you show it to both parents. Now, it's a structure for teaching delayed gratification, self-discipline, and it's something we have always done. It's a structure. So there is no like compromise. You cannot be so hungry if you have, except your dad is not in town for a very long time, then it's understandable. You can do a video call and say, okay, I got this gift. That is so, oh, beautiful, pray over them and eat them. That is fine. But you must show them to both parents. It's not as if I cannot say, oh, go have them, or my husband cannot say, go have them. No. We just want to teach them to wait. And that is a structure for instilling that value of self-discipline, the value of delayed gratification. That's something you can do with structure. Now, one major element that will make structure work is, as a parent, you must model it. The structure is not just for the children alone. I was talking about self-discipline again yesterday in our Zoom class, and I was telling pack moms that one of the things I know that for these children to actually learn this habit we want them to learn, or to form this habit at the end of the day, our parenting, our strategy has to be airtight. For example, let's talk about honesty. For example, you need to understand what makes honesty, what is honesty. And every single time, talking about honesty, keeping your promises, talking about not exaggerating, talking about playing fair, talking about saying things the way they are, not telling a lie. You have to keep to them all of the time. I talked about discipline. I said, for example, when I'm frying plantain or frying anything, chicken or something in the kitchen, many times I'm tempted to eat it and just take one and throw in my mouth. But because my kids are around, even when they are not around, I hold myself back from eating it, because I'm trying to teach them that self-discipline is the ability to see temptation and hold back. When there's no temptation, there's no way to tempt, there's no way to know if you're actually self-disciplined or not. But when there's temptation, you're able to resist it. That shows there's self-discipline. So frying a bowl of chicken and having this, being tempted to take one and throw in your mouth and not doing that, is actually self-discipline. That is one of the things I use to model self-discipline to my children. So it is very, very important. Modeling is one of the elements that make your structure effective. The children have to know that, oh, mommy is the one eating the plantain. Okay, maybe mommy can get away with some things. I cannot get away with some things because of her age, or because she's just being bossy because she's the mommy, or she just wants to be the mommy. That is why. Or because she's the one frying the plantain, or she's in charge. So what that means is, whenever I'm in charge, I can also do whatever I like. No, that is not the self-discipline I want. So modeling is one of the key elements to having an effective structure in your house. So whatever structure you are setting, you need to model it. Structure must have a purpose. There's a purpose for a structure. Like I said, you just don't wake up and create random structures. Now, one of the things parents do that they struggle with their structure is because their structures, they are not purposeful. You just do something like, let me leave structure. Let's talk about giving instructions, or expecting behavior, expecting compliance from your child, or just expecting a particular behavior from your child. Is not consistent. You expect it today, tomorrow your child can disobey it and go away with it, get away with it. With that, it is not a structure, it is not consistent. So your child understands that it's a mood thing. You don't do that when you are creating a structure. Your mood must not influence your structure. Sentiment must not influence your structure. You are not creating a structure to punish your child. You are not creating a structure to get back, to get even. No, you are not creating a structure. This my child, it pains me. I'm so hurt. I'm so going to deal with the child. It is not a competition. You're not creating a structure to deal with your child. What you are doing is, you are creating a structure to raise a whole human being, a total child. You are creating a structure to modify behavior, to teach behaviors, to have them unlearn some behaviors, to have a peaceful parenting atmosphere. These are the reasons and more are the reasons you are creating your structure. So let me go over to a question a parent asked yesterday, talking about how we can use structure into all of this. She said her kids don't like doing chores. They don't like doing chores. And one said her kids don't like to read. How can she do these things? Because I do not want this video to be too long, so I am just going to go straight into building our daily routines, as in daily structure. And then hopefully, if you have any question as a pack mom, you come to the group and ask your questions. Pack moms, you come to the group and ask your questions. Let's take it further so that you can create your structure. And I'm going to drop this template on the screen. I'm going to drop it with you to create your structure. So a parent said the children don't like doing chores, and one said the children don't like reading. Now, I'll tell you a few things before we quickly go into the structure drafting. I'll tell you a few things. One of the reasons children don't like doing chores because they don't have a structure. For example, chore is not something that is fun, something that is boring. So the child wants to have fun all day. It's a normal thing. We all want to have fun for a long time. So how you create your structure, let's talk about reading. The same thing happens. Reading is not fun for many children, except when you grow to an extent you are able to self-motivate. Reading is not fun to you. So you need to create a structure to help your child do chores, to help your child take up responsibilities, to help your child love reading. I was telling a parent yesterday that doing chores is not, there are so many benefits to doing chores. You need to understand your child is doing chores to be independent, to be more responsible. Your child is doing chores to show love to you as a parent, because you are doing a great deal of work in the house. You're tired, you're exhausted, you can't do all of it. Your child needs to pick up chores to show that he or she loves you. Another reason, your child needs to pick up chores to show that he or she is a part of the family, and he or she is putting his or her best into making the family a happy one. Taking responsibility, playing your part, and showing love, kindness, and all of that to family members are some of the reasons why children do chores. Of course, it's teaching them independent for the time they are going to be on their own. And doing chores come with a lot of skills. A lot of skills, like delayed gratification, like patience, like perseverance. Doing chores come with a lot of skills. So every child must do chores, age appropriate chores. So now what you want to do is, for the parent, I'm answering them now, you want to create your daily routine. Now, if you look at what I have on the screen, is a daily routine. From the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, that is a daily routine. Especially when your kids are on holiday, you want to create a structure like this. Every single time is labeled. In my house, my time, every single time of the day is labeled. Is labeled. There is time for everything. And of course, there is time for everything. So when you let your child understand that there is time for everything, then you now help them structure their time so that they will understand there is time for everything. And the way you're structured, for example, if you want your child to love reading, there's a way you are going to structure your time that it becomes easy for them to read. If your child Okay, if you want more on that, you can actually every pack mom can ask in the group. If you're not a pack mom and you want more on that, you can get my book, Raising a Reader, you can get my book, Parenting Structure, and then you will learn a great deal about that. So let me go straight. So what you want to do is look at every time. For example, your child doesn't want to do chore. So you can have a meeting with your child and talk about all the chores. You have let's say 4 children, 3 children, 2 children. You have a meeting with them. And we have a book for the meeting too again. Parenting, parenting meeting, family meeting template. We have that so that can help you hold an effective meeting. Because I remember someone said in those days, and during family prayers, it all was always warning, nagging, and condemning for them. It was not fun. So you actually want to know how to hold an effective family meeting. So you can ask for that and get it too. So what you want to do is to sit your children down and talk to them about all the chores they need, all the chores in the house that are there to do. You want to let them know why it's important for them to pick up chores. I've explained that. You want to rewind and see the importance of doing chores. You want to explain to them, and you want to have all the chores listed out, and then you tell them, okay, let's say for example, you have cleaning your room to do, you have sweeping the floor, you have doing dishes, you have taking out trash, watering the flower, feeding the pets, and laundering, making your room, and all of that. What they do every day, you list them out, and you can talk to them about, okay, what time we have 24 hours in a day. And of course, you know that we don't wake up until 5 a.m., we don't wake up until 6 a.m., and we go to bed, let's say 9 p.m. or 8 p.m., which simply means that the 9 p.m. to 5 p.m. is out of it. So what we have left is from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. So what are we going to do within that? How do we fit in these chores into that time? And if you have 3 children, you actually want to create a roster for them. Everyone has a chore they do. Everyone has a chore they do. So when they are creating their daily schedule, their daily routine, they'll fit in their chores into it already by themselves. That they fit in their chores into it and they get that done. So if you are not if you okay, that done, then you want to ask them, what time do you want to do this? What time would you want to sweep? We have sweeping. What time would you want to sweep the house? What time would you want to do the dishes? What time would you want to do this? The particular time they have to do all of that, you fix them into the time, the routine you have created, what you are seeing on the sheet. If you're a pack mom, please ask for a copy. If you're not a pack mom, please, you can look at it and create yours. That's fine. Or you can get the book parenting structure to get a lot. It's very comprehensive and it's very simple, simplified, comprehensive, and it's an amazing resource you need to get in your parenting. So you want to look at all of them, all those things all the chores they have to do, and fit them into the time time of the day. Now, if your kids don't also like reading, you also want to, like, okay, one of the things that happens when parents want children to read is that we just want them to read 24 hours all around the clock. It's not possible. No matter how you love reading, at some point you get bored, you get tired. So it's not possible for them to be reading 24 hours of the day. So you want to help them create time for reading. Time for reading. Time for reading. That is the structure. So you look at the time of the day again, you create time for reading. Of course, I said everybody's factors are not the same. Everybody's realities are not the same. You cannot say, okay, you know that your child will be at school by 2 p.m. You put time for reading for 2 p.m. It's not going to work. Because I have my kids reading time for 4 p.m., you put your kids reading time for 4 p.m. when you know that at 4 p.m., maybe they have extra lessons, at 4 p.m., maybe they have their skills, it's not going to work. So you have to create your structure to meet your daily needs, your reality. So what you want to do is to look at those things, those major things that cannot be moved. Like sleeping, for example, you can't move sleeping and put reading or chores in the middle of the night. So you want to first of all strike out those times they cannot do some things. You want to remove them. Then the things you want them to do, you want to put them there. Put time for reading, put time for prayer, put time for I see structures flying on social media. I saw a structure one time where a parent was writing 8 to 9 do this, 9 to 10 do this, 10 to 11. I said, is your child a robot? Excuse me. It's not even realistic. It's not even going to work, because you, the parents, you will even get tired. The child is not a robot now. It's not a robot now. Haba. So what you want to do is, it is not the entire time that you are going to seal up. You are going to give them space. You are going to consider a lot of things. Consider the fact that the children will want to play. They want to watch TV. They want to play games. They want to hang out with their friends. That is why you need to ask them the time. If your kids are already preteens, if they are young children, of course, you can know how to create a structure for them. But if they are older, you want to have them sit them down and create a time that is convenient for them. Okay, I want to take my reading to 6 to 8. That's fine. So every day 6 to 8, and then you know that 6 to 8 is not a time that will clash with something. It is very important you understand that 6 to 8 is not a time that will clash with something. That is one of the things parents do. When I had raised a readers class, I let parents know that your child is watching television and you just come. You are not reading. Stand up and go and read, like my parents used to do. The reading becomes an enemy, because television is fun to them. You are asking them in the middle of reading, watching television, to go and read. Reading becomes an enemy because it is coming in the way of fun. We don't like killjoys. We don't like spoilers. So reading becomes a spoiler. So you don't want that. So you actually want to make sure that television has its own time. What is your time for TV? Okay, let's say TV time is 12 noon to 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. That's your TV time. Then you watch your TV. In my house, we call TV time freestyle. You can play, you can watch it, you can do anything you want to do. Then after that, so I always have free time in between, because my structure is not such that the kids can't take initiative. It's not such that the kids can't breathe. They just know specific things they need to do. For example, we have a structure that says wake up. When you wake up in the morning, you fix your bed, you you fix your bed, you say your prayers, you come for family prayers, then you I don't have it now, so I don't remember the order. I know that these are the things they do in the morning. Fix your bed, say your come for family prayers, do your chores, bathe, and then if it's school time, of course you go to school. If it's not school time, then you read for 1 hour. You just keep your brain busy for 1 hour. Then you practice your skill. After that, you have free time. You have free time to do whatever you like until it's time for, say, free time. You can choose to eat your lunch. You can choose not to eat your lunch. They, of course, they always eat their lunch. Until it's time for lunch, they eat their lunch. After that lunch, then they practice skill or anything, or not something serious. Then before evening where they go back and do their chores, prepare dinner, and if it's say on Saturday, they prepare plan for church on Sunday. If it's on Sunday, they plan for school on Monday. If it's on Monday, of course, they plan for school on Tuesday. If it's a holiday, then they just keep making merry. Then in the evening, it's time for after dinner and all of that family time where we gather together, gist, laugh, share a moment together. After that, they read themselves to sleep. That's basically the structure of it, you know. And weekend, everyday structure is different from weekend structure. It's different from holiday structure. Weekend, they know that they have to wash their clothes, wash their sports shoes, and then clean their shoes, have their uniform ironed, wash their toilets, and all of that. So they also have it written down. So it's up to them. They know that these are the things they do on Saturdays. They choose to, okay, I want to wash my toilet in the morning. When I wake up in the morning, I want to make sure I do all my chores in the morning before my private teacher comes. I want to make sure I clean my bathroom, I have my shoes washed, I have my food eaten and everything. So that when my private teacher comes and he teaches me, I'm done with it, learning or something like that, I am so good for the day. That is structure. That is the structure. So you want to use these templates to create what you want to create. How to create your structure. And like I said, what makes your structure work is the fact that it is consistent. Now, there's something you need to understand about structure. At first, except of course you started when your kids were still very little, or they were toddlers, then they just grew into it. They grew into it. That is fine. For example, your child knows that, okay, when somebody gives us a gift, we never eat it. So it's a lifestyle. No matter how, they will just grow into it from small. They know that that is how it has always been. So they will think it's a normal thing to do. For example, you say, Dad and Mom must see these items before you eat them. They will feel that it is something that is how it's supposed to be, that there's a reason for it. They will just feel that's how it's supposed to be. That's the lifestyle. That's how it's supposed to be. So even when they grow older, much older, they realize, oh, it was for the purpose of this. They are already used to it. If you want to take your mind back, you realize that a lot of things you are used to that your parents did, or that you did when you were younger, that you were so used to, growing up now, you struggle to kind of do them differently. You realize that. So the same thing happens. It becomes a lifestyle and they are so used to it. However, if you are starting, maybe your kids are already preteens, already growing, you are going to meet a lot of resistance on the way at the initial stage. Not just because your kids want to resist you, but because of a great number of reasons. One is because it's something new. They're already used to a particular way of life. Watching TV all day, they're used to that. Not reading their books, they're used to that. Now you want them to start, you want them to begin to learn new things or to exhibit new behaviors that are not in them. So they may be a bit of struggle with that. No, so they want to resist it. Some children want to resist it. They want to go back to the old way. Now, this is where consequences and reward come in. For your structure to be super effective, you need to have your consequence and your reward. Now, this is why in my book, My Family Constitution, which is free to all members of PAC, Parenting Accountability Community, you will see a number of behaviors and their consequences. You also get 16 effective way to excuse me, to discipline without flogging. You are still going to see consequences. It's also free to pack. So Easy Pack, Pack moms, they get a lot of tools that will help them in this parenting. They have a lot of tools. So if you're not in Pack, I don't understand you. I don't know what you're waiting for. The registration of 10,000 naira. If you see the materials you are getting, you realize that it's a steal really. Anyway, that aside. So in the book 16 effective way to discipline without flogging, you are going to get consequences also. Now, I said, I don't know if I mentioned this already, consequences are not intended to break the child, to punish the child. They are intended to modify behavior. Now, this is why the book, My Family Constitution, we use impact. If you look at the consequences, all of them are meant to have the child reflect on the behaviors. Reflect on the behaviors. Think of an alternative ways to behave. Think of alternative ways to behave, reflect the behavior, and hopefully make better choice. It's not automatic, no. It's a structure. Like your child does this thing, each time your child does this thing, he or she faces a particular consequence, and the child keeps learning from that consequence, and hopefully the behavior is modified. So consequences are an integral part of your parenting structure. So you want to look at these behaviors that you want to modify and everything, and create consequences for it. So like I said, a lot of reasons will make your child want to resist this structure. One is something new, like I said, something new. They are used to a particular system. So no, 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 they don't want this change. They don't want this change because this change is not funny. This change is going to deny them some fun, some privileges. They don't want it. One of the reasons they want to resist the change. For another children, they may be forgetful. They'll use a particular pattern for God's sake. So it's easy for them to forget. So with those children, you want to give them something. You want to help them associate your structure with something. So the thought of the consequence will quickly remind them, jerk them back to reality. Oh, there's a consequence. So, it will help them stay on course. So you want to use consequences to make sure your structures are effective. I am going to talk about how using structure to instill values. Okay, I've talked about it briefly. Hopefully, in part, we are going to talk about it exhaustively, because the idea is for us to raise responsible children who will grow into responsible adults. Thank you so much for watching. If you're a Pack Mom, please watch and share your questions in the group. I'm doing this for you. And if you're not a Pack Mom, it's a privilege. You're actually getting some of the things that Pack Mom subscribe, they pay for. So feel free to watch and go back and watch every of our videos. If you have a question, if you're not a Pack Mom, it's okay. Have a question, drop it under the comment section, and I'll come live and take the question. Now remember that I have a lot to do in this channel. I actually want to have questions. I come and take live. I have a lot of questions I answer in inbox. I don't want to do that. I want to come and answer the questions live so that we can talk about, or we can all learn together. But I may not be able to do live and leave my video live because I have not hit the number of subscribers that allow you leave your video right and leave your videos right. I need to be up to 1,000 subscribers and more to be able to leave my videos right. So you see, if I hit 1,000, then it's going to be a win-win for us. I'll be able to do my videos live. Like yesterday when we had our Zoom class, we can just easily have it here. We have it here and the video remains live. So I don't have to record or stream with StreamYard and have it here. No, I don't have to do all of that. I just record live and I leave it here. So now this is why, one of the reasons I need you to subscribe. I need you to share. I need you to like, comment, and just do everything you can to push, to promote this channel so that we can have live classes. Do well to visit our previous topics. You are going to be blessed. Thank you so much. Enemy Rebel is my name, and I'm the host of Pack Parenting Accountability Community. And I just shared with you how to create an effective parenting structure. Pack Moms, let's go back to the group and ask our questions and share our struggles and keep learning. Bye.